Hello everyone. Today I'm going to be showing you some more projects I've been working on, and these are also part of Alan Gary Campbell's collection, which are some Memorymoogs, and these are all just standard Memorymoogs, not the Memorymoog Plus. But anyways, I've actually got a total of four of them from him, and the fourth one, unfortunately, it's just seen better days. It's actually probably going to be parts, and because it's just missing too many things, and you're talking about a lot of money. But this one here, I just opened it up and got a parts count of everything it needs, and I'm going to work on rebuilding this one. This one here, actually, I have to give a big thank you for Alan Gary Campbell's customer that let us actually borrow his Memorymoog that's actually fully working. And so thank you very much. And evidently what happened is Alan Gary Campbell worked on his Memorymoog quite a long time ago, and it never got back to the owner. And when he passed away, Gary Campbell asked in his will to make sure this gets back to the original owner. So Jerry Wasley, he was best friends with Gary Campbell, which I'm now good friends with him, and a super nice guy. Really cool guy. I'm really honored to be helping Alan Gary Campbell's family out and working with Jerry Wasley. But anyways, he contacted the owner of this one, and he said, sure, y'all can use it, and keep it as long as you need it. So I've been using it as a reference, because even though you've got manuals, I've got the original manuals, schematics, everything, it is good to have a functioning unit to see exactly what is supposed to be going on where. So this one's fully working, and as a thank you for letting us use your Memorymoog, I'm actually going to do some maintenance to it to make it hold up for a long time. So it should be really nice when you get it back, because there are some things in it like capacitors and things that are really old and dated. So thank you again for letting us use your Memorymoog. But now I get to bring you to the one I've been working on. This is what I've been working on for the last couple of months now. Actually, I've just been ordering parts and waiting and trying to get everything in order here on it. But basically what I've done to this one is I ended up having to rebuild the computer in it. It had some computer issues, and what would happen is you turn it on, and immediately this thing actually uses real potentiometers, but they're digitally encoded as you turn them, which basically just has a signal that looks at the voltage and then converts it to a digital signal and runs an op amp and all that good stuff. I'm not going to get all technical, but what you've got is, when I turn this thing on, is it just automatically just jump all pots to 100. It'd say everything's set at 100, and I traced it down. I checked all the caps on the actual pots, made sure nothing was wrong with them, and it turned out to be it was actually in this computer board itself. And so what it is, you got an operating system pot position software, which actually is a software that actually runs and looks at your pots. It knows what to do, basically. It's like a software for it. And so I checked all that out. It wasn't that. So I just ended up rebuilding this whole board. It had some old parts in it. It had a few other issues too. So I just knocked out and re-chipped it, and actually even put a new Z80 processor in it. So, and it runs at 200 mega. No, not 200. 2 megahertz. 2 megahertz processing speed. So, woohoo! Amazing. When you talk about 3.2 gigs nowadays, that's nothing. But it just shows the age of technology here. But anyways, guys, as you can hear, I've actually got all 6 voices working. I've got everything working except for one last issue, which what happens now is if I switch the octave range for the keyboard on the LHC, or left-hand control, the computer goes crazy. And I'm thinking it's something to do with the common analog board, which is actually where your octave shifts come from. And I'm thinking it could be something shorted whenever I switch between the two. It might be an IC that's shorted. You got switching ICs, very similar to like what's in Polymoogs and everything else. 4016s, as a matter of fact. And so I think one of those might be cross-shorted or something, and it's causing interference between it and some other signal path that's throwing the computer crazy. But I got all 6 voices working. I had one dead voice, which turned out to be a broken solder joint, so it was pretty easy. I just pulled the board, resoldered it, and found what was going on there. But as you can hear, I'll just play a little bit for you. And if I hit monophonic mode, it stacks all those voices up, and you get something like this right here. So very powerful sound, very powerful synth. But to be honest with you, the sound is very similar to a Prophet 5. This is a lot thicker than a Prophet 5 because you got an extra oscillator per voice, and which is really cool. And it also has true discrete VCL ladder filter, which is Moog's famous filter, which you can actually see it. But there you can see all the transistor ladder there with the op amps related to it. And or really not op amps, those are actually I'm trying to remember, in-channel JFETs, which in some of the Moogs they used E402s. In this one I can't remember what the part number is they used in this one right offhand. But basically that's the Moog ladder filter, but everything else is Curtis chips. The oscillators are Curtis, they're 3340s I believe, yep. And you got 3 of them per voice. And it's got VCAs by Curtis. I think they're, I can't remember what they're, 3310s I think. No, that's the envelope generator. 3360s I believe is what the the actual amplifier chip is. And then it's got the 3310s down here for your VCL from VCA envelope generators, which is on this board here. But anyways, just to kind of show you an overview here, I'd like to kind of show you what the inside of one of these look like. I know a lot of people hadn't explained it. You got a cooling fan, which I've currently got unplugged because it was just driving me crazy sitting there humming and running. So I unplugged it so I could do some tests. And with it opened up, I don't have to worry about heat building up. But anyways, the power supply is right here. It might look familiar. It's actually the same one used in the Moog, only a little different count ratings. A little different wiring. I think these have 2 wires branched off to give you a different voltage. Can't remember what they are right offhand. But basically, the overlook of this circuits is actually a lot more complex than a Prophet 5 or any other synth. And it does a little more. The functionality is a lot different. You actually have polyphonic glide, which the Prophet 5 does not have. You've got a little more going on. And the computer is a little more complex as well, as far as what all it's doing and controlling. But the top boards, basically, you got your computer board here, your common analog board here, which basically takes the computer signals and it converts everything, drives your voices, and also introduces the modulations and all that to your voices. So that's your common analog board. Then these are your actual voices. There's 6 of them. I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's actually 3 boards per layer. So this layer here has 3, one front to back and then one on the bottom. Same thing here. And this front board here, this is your contour board, as they call it, contour and glide board, which holds all your envelope generators and glide circuits for each voice, which you can actually see that each voice has a wire going to it for the VCA and VCL for each voice. And then under these boards, which actually I want to strap up right quick. So always strap up if you work on one of these, because static is a bad thing. So let me turn it off for a minute. And I'll lift these boards here up and show you what's underneath these boards. You've got your actual, this is your demugs and mugs board, which holds all your switching and stuff that the program actually turns on and off. And it sends signals all over the place to each control, and it's all ran by the computer. So it was very early electronic days, because now all that stuff fits in like one chip. And you actually got what they call PLDs, now they're programmable logic drivers, which basically does a lot of things that one board does. But very neat and very historical instrument, because these were actually one of the only 2 polyphonic synthesizers Moog ever made, and they still hadn't produced a Polymoog, if you want to use that term. But they produced the Polymoog, which is a polyphonic synth, and they produced a Memorymoogs later on. And this is also a good time too for me to explain the difference between a divide down circuit synthesizer versus the actual voice synthesizer. The Polymoog, as most of you know I talk a lot about, it uses divide down circuitry, which is basically we have one oscillator or two oscillators, because it's a two oscillator synth. You got divider boards coming out, which are actually driving high frequency oscillator signals to each key, and each key has its own amplifier and wave shaping and filter. So each key is a little different, which makes a lot more circuitry. It makes it have a lot more stuff going on inside. Where this uses a computer to drive this board, which drives each voice as a key. So for instance, when you hit this key, it says, alright, let's assign this voice here to that key, or whichever voice is in that tuning. And then you end up with 6 notes, because it's going to stack the voices as you play. And then when you hit monophonic mode, basically what it does, it takes this computer, reconfigures these things. The computer over here makes this board configure them into stacks. So for instance, all 6 voices will be driven at one time for a note, and all audio outputs will be routed at one time. So you get a monophonic tone, a really thick monophonic tone at that, because you're talking about 3 oscillators per voice, 6 voices. So major power. But that's basically kind of the difference between a divide down circuitry synthesizer and a actual voice synthesizer, which I don't really know what the right term would be for that. Don't really use it that much, but anyways, that's kind of overlook of a Memorymoogs. And basically the Memorymoogs Plus is exactly the same thing, just with an added board here, expansion board that plugs in here, then plugs into this socket over here. And I actually talked to Jim Sikora, who actually was a technician on these at Moog, which he's also a friend of mine, and another really nice guy. I'm really honored to know. We got talking about maybe converting one of these over to a Memorymoogs Plus, and he actually told me that it wasn't a really wise idea, because whenever you plug that in, the processing is already so eaten up by everything else going on that when you plug that in, it actually delays the key, and it causes a delay as you play, and it's not very good, and it also hurts the stability of the unit. So with that said, I decided not to even update these, just basically just restore them, get them fully working, and then they'll be ready to go. But anyways, guys, I just thought I'd give you an update on everything that's been going on. I'm sorry, I know this is an earful of stuff like usual, but anyways, thanks for watching. And also, one other thing I should mention, I've been restoring a Rogue as well from Alan Gary Campbell's collection. And I've actually done a mod to this one. It's got a nice little switch here, has keys and pedal, where I'm actually restoring a set of Taurus pedal controllers for this one to go with it. And I'm fixing it where you can play from the keyboard and then switch and then actually play by foot for live performance. So you don't have to just rely either on the pedals or the keyboard. You can switch between the two in real time, and that's going to make it very playable. So working on that. That's almost done. I just got to finish cleaning the keyboard contacts and stuff, and finish and then put all the knobs and stuff back on it. But yeah, guys, it has been busy. I've been real busy with all this Moog stuff, and it's been crazy. But I am planning on doing some music here pretty soon. I'm working on the album as well, and so got that going on. And we'll have, I promise you, I'll have a jam session soon using the prototype Polymoog, Mini Moogs, and Taurus pedals, which I even got, which I don't even think I've talked about those yet. But I got some Taurus 1 pedals that I'm real proud of. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching as usual, and I'll have some more updates soon. Take care.